first is if go ahead and tell me your name and how to spell it out. That way, if someone else looks at this later, they'll know who you are. So, go ahead.
My name is Andrea Robinson, Andrearobinson.
And Andrea, how do you know Adam Herrman?
We went to elementary school together at Pleasant View in Derby.
Very cool. So, today we're talking about the case of Adam. It's been so long since he was last seen. About 10 years ago is when family, kind of figured out, or his sister kind of figured out that, hey, something's wrong here. He's missing. How did you hear about the news, and what was your take on it when you found out?
I actually heard it on the news. I had a lot of emotions about it because thinking back towards elementary school, 4th grade, he was at school one day and then the next he wasn't. And, back then being a small child and stuff, you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what's going on in your friends' lives or what could be the reason why they're not there. But I was shocked. I was wondering, why didn't they report it sooner? Why did his adopted parents kept collecting money? Why didn't they call the police? I mean, any logical person would call the police immediately after they know a child has gone missing, not wait 10 or so years after they've gone missing and still collect money. To me, it was a shock.
Yeah, and it wasn't even the parents who reported it.
It was, I mean, it should have been his adopted parents. It was their responsibility to report him missing, and they failed to do that.
With his case, there are so many questions about what happened, and I'm really hoping that we can edge closer to figuring it all out. Reflecting back on everything now, I mean, what was Adam like? I mean, I know it's kind of hard for kids to kind of reminisce about their peers from back then, but what do you remember about Adam and his family?
Well, I remember Adam as one of those boys that used to chase us girls around the playground. We used to play games like Lava Monster, or he'll say that one of us is his girlfriend, and we used to play wall ball or Foursquare together, or on days that we didn't want to play, we just sit down in one of those playgrounds or Foursquares and just talked about our future, what we want. And I remember Adam saying he can't wait till we all go to prom.
Yeah.
And he was amazing. He was nice. He was kind to everyone. He was your typical boy. Henri causes some grief towards his teachers.
Yeah.
But he always made a person feel good about themselves. And on days that we noticed that he's having trouble, we were there to help him. We were all close.
What would, I mean, I know you had mentioned, there were times where he would come to school not in the best of shape and that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. What do you remember about all that?
I remember him coming to school with broken glasses or tape on his glasses, and sometimes no glasses at all. Mm-hmm. I just saw some bruises on his face. I mean, being a young child, he didn't think anything of it. And we always asked him, what happened? What's going on? Is there something you want to tell us? And he's like, oh, I just fell down and injured my face. And we're like, okay. But, being young in 4th grade, we didn't think anything of it at the time, that he was possibly being abused, because we look at our parents like, hey, you guys are there to protect us. You guys are there to love us. Yeah. Nothing's going to happen. It was bad. And I felt horrible. If I would have known the signs of abuse, I would have said something sooner. Yeah. Anything I could have done to help him out, I would have said it. But I didn't know at the time.
Well, no one could, guess for a kid to know. But some teachers did know, or at least did know kind of something. Because, one of the sheriff over in Butler County, he tells me that, back in, I think, 95, it was around, or maybe it might have been 94, but there was allegations of abuse. He had a lot of, bruises, cuts, that sort of thing on him. And they took him out of the home, and they took him to the children's home. And then the next day, they released him back to his parents. I mean, just so interesting how quick it is. And the sheriff tells me, he's like, well, it was the holidays. They, were so fast with, they just wanted to get him back so he could be with his family. And I'm like, how do you do all that, And I guess, like, the police officers involved, like, they didn't document, like, they didn't take pictures or anything. They just wrote down information, which, I mean, they wrote it down. But I was just like, how, just all these little, like, kind of missteps. And then about a year later, I guess there was another report of possible abuse. And this is where I guess the school had stepped up and said something, or something was reported through the school. And just about a week later, the family moves, pulling him out of school, and then moves to Towanda, where they ended up, being, and that's right around when he disappeared.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just crazy to think about all that stuff. I mean, I'm so glad that teachers were informing someone about it, but I don't know.
The teachers at the school was pretty amazing. I mean, they watched out for all the students.
Yeah.
They didn't treat us like their students. They treat us like we were one of their own, and they always looked out for us no matter what. And they did the same thing to Adam. I mean, I remember teachers pulling him out in the hallway and asking him questions, and I didn't think anything of it.
Sure.
None of our friends did. It was just like, uh-oh, what did he do this time?
Right.
Because Adam was known to cause mischief. And
Yeah, that's what I hear. But I mean, you're a kid.
Yeah, I
boy,
mean,
especially that age.
yeah,
It's
it's
not atypical.
being a child, I mean, you're going to cause trouble, mischief. So,
Right.
and that's what Adam did.
Yeah. But I'm so glad. I mean, the sheriff said that they stepped up, but that's right around, like I said, when they pulled him out of school and everything. I just think it's just such a strange case.
I remember him a couple of times after we got out of school and walked down the sidewalk to where his parents were, and we saw his sister coming. He's like, I don't want to go home. I was like, you don't want to go home? Why? I want to go home.
Yeah.
School's out. He's like, I just don't want to go home. It was just, to me, I didn't think anything of it. I mean, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow, and never saw him again. That's the last conversation I ever had with him. Never, ever saw him again. I've had questions. I want answers to why my friend is gone. His family wants answers. Everyone wants these answers. Even the Butler County Sheriff's Department wants answers. And no one can provide these answers.
But someone has to know.
Yeah. I mean, we just want to know what happened. We want to know if he's alive. We want to know what's going on. I mean, people deserve these answers because there's people out there that still care about Adam.
Yeah.
There's his friends that still care about him, his family that cares. We just want answers. We want to know that he's okay. It's just, I think about it all the time. I keep recalling in my mind the last day I had with him, the last recess we had, the last time we ate lunch together. If I would have known that was the last time I've ever seen him, I would have stuck around and talked to him a little bit longer. But I remember on that day that his adopted parents were in a big hurry to go. They were rushing him and rushing his sister. And it's just like, okay, maybe they want to beat traffic. But it was the last day. Yeah. Last day that I've ever seen or talked to him.
And they just moved after that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, now as a parent too, I mean, you have, how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Okay, you have 3 kids. I mean, your perspective probably on stuff like this has changed.
Yes.
Since having kids.
Yes. It's just like, I've gone as far as to putting a GPS tracker on my daughter's phone so I know where she's at all times.
Yeah.
And I always try to tell my kids, it's like, hey, if something's going on at school and someone's being abused, and you know what, please come to me and tell me so I can tell someone at the school. I mean, child abuse, it's it's high right now. I mean, there's so many children out there being abused, and DCF is not doing a thing about it. There needs to be something done about child abuse. It has to stop. So many kids are getting killed that don't need to be killed. These kids deserve a chance to live their life. Let them make their mistakes. Let them learn to love. Let them be loved. They deserve that. It's just, I've given my kids every opportunity to know that they are loved, even though they drive me crazy.
Yeah.
I let them know that they're loved. And personally, being a parent, I can never abuse my kids in any way. I can't neglect it. No matter how tired I am, I can't do anything to them. I mean, they're my life. And that's how kids should be.
Do you think the system failed Adam Herrman?
Yes, I do think the system has failed Adam Herrman big time. It has failed so many kids. And it's not right. The system needs to be redone. There needs to be a rehaul of the system. And, you know, unless we speak up and say something, nothing's going to be done about it. We can't continue living in fear of DCF. We have to stand up and say something about what is going on. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Let our kids get taken away and never get them back, even though we do everything they have told us to do. Some parents don't even get their kids back. And it's sad. Families deserve to be together. Parents that have done everything that has been asked of them deserve to have their kids back. I have friends that's going through similar situations. Mm-hmm. He's a single father trying to get his kids back with him, and yet the system is not letting him. A great guy. But
in the foster care system, I mean, there's good in it, but there's so many flaws too.
It is.
You know.
It is, and you know, I read that kids are being molested, mm-hmm. abused. I mean, what kind of environment is that for a child? I mean, if they're in foster care, they're supposed to be put somewhere safe, right. Not be somewhere where they're scared. The system's failing.
Well, I'm hoping, like, I've done a couple of stories on DCF, and they face a lot of challenges, and they have some things that they're doing mm-hmm. to improve things, but it's definitely, they need an overhaul to make mm-hmm. certain things happen. I'm trying to think of anything else to ask you. Do you think there's anything that you want to make sure the message gets across? If Adam is out there, I mean, what would you, I don't know, what would you want to say to him?
If he's out there and he sees this, I just want him to know that he has people that care about him. There's always going to be people like me, his family, even some more friends from elementary school that I still talk to that care about him. We all care, and we all hope that he's okay. And we hope that maybe we could share our lives with him.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
He deserves to know that there's people out there that want him in their lives.
And I think that's what, with the news of him being missing, like from what I understand, his sister was trying to find him because she was starting to have kids around then, and she wanted to bring them, and put their lives together. And I'm like, that's really cool, but what a sad thing to find out.
It's just like, me and my friend, we both have, our kids are really close in age, and if Adam's still out there, we want him to be part of all of our lives. We want to go to the park together. We want to meet his wife or girlfriend or kids or whatever. We just want to enjoy what time we have with him. We want to make up for the years that we've lost. So it's hard to speak of this about Adam, because every time I speak of Adam, I begin to break down and cry like a little baby. It's just, he meant a lot to a lot of people. he's missed. I just wish there's something I could have done to help him out.
Yeah. I think
to know what goes on, what happened. I want to know what happened on his last day, what caused them to get up and just move.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. I mean, is there a reason why they just got up and moved everything? Why they uprooted their family? Why they moved from a nice place in Derby to a trailer in Towanda?
Yeah.
That made no sense to me.
Yeah. It seems strange to me, like, with the family too, like, I guess, like, when they moved, they say that they were homeschooling Adam, but the other siblings were in public school.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it at all. It makes no sense to me. Why would they homeschool Adam and let the other kids go to public school?
Yeah.
Kids need that social interaction with other peers. So why take that away from Adam, but let his siblings have it? I wouldn't do that to my kids, and other parents wouldn't do that to their kids. At least I hope they wouldn't. But, you know, I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, and one person had told me, and I don't know if it was you or someone else, like, he was really protective of one of his sisters. Or his sister, younger sister?
Yeah.
His younger sister?
I want to say her name was Joanna?
I'd have to go and look. Honestly, I don't remember.
I remember.
But people tell me that he was really
yes.
protective. Like, he was big brother.
Yes.
Which is great. I mean, that's wonderful.
She was the sweetest girl. I adored her so much.
Yeah.
She always gave me hugs.
Yeah.
And
nice.
she was just, he always walked right past his parents first, and then went to get his sister, and then walked back to his parents. And so he was really protective of her.
Yeah.
And, you know, I tried finding her on Facebook, and I couldn't find her.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, because that's the only sibling I knew of his. I don't know none of his biological siblings. I would like to, because they're a part of Adam. But
yeah, I don't know where she is. I'd have to go and look. I'll have to go and do another public record search or whatever on her. But the sister that I'm reaching out to is his biological sister, Crystal. So
never met her.
We'll see what turns out. And you know, nothing may turn out of it either, and that's fine. I mean, I don't want to push them anymore. And I know that over the years they probably keep every year. They probably get hounded by everybody and that sort of thing.
I had what was it, 2015, 16, something like that. The Butler County Sheriff's Department contacted me and came over here to do an interview with what I remember of Adam.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I ever broke down and really, truly cried about it.
Yeah.
It's just like that's right around the time where I found out that he's gone and that he's possibly been murdered. You couldn't help but to cry.
Yeah.
And my kids are asking, "What's wrong, Mommy? What's wrong?"
Oh gosh.
So how are you supposed to explain to your kids that one of your friends that you grew up with was disappeared?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes no sense at all. There's just so much of that case that makes no sense. It's just, we deserve answers. And I appreciate Butler County Sheriff's Department working on this case to get those answers.
They've been really diligent. Like,
Yes.
Sheriff Rosette, this is one thing. He plans to retire in a couple years, and he's like, I want to close this case.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I'm like, I will put everything I can into these reports that I'm going to do, and then we'll see. You never know. You never know what information comes out. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've had friends say that they've seen someone that looks like Adam walking around in Andover.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know what to think about that. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
We don't know. Maybe if he's alive, maybe he's going under a different name. Maybe he doesn't want to be found.
Yeah. In some cases, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, There's been cases where kids have been ran away and they showed up years later.
Yeah.
And with today's society, you never know what's going to go on. And back then, you never know what was going to go on either. We didn't think of child trafficking.
Like human trafficking and stuff.
Yes.
No, none of that. But it happens.
Gremlin.
It
Yep.
happens, so it's just kind of crazy to think about. That's so scary too, because
It is.
we're like in this hub where that can easily, kids can disappear. So
It is, and I don't take my kids into public places with me very often just because I'm so scared of something happening. I had someone that tried to abduct my little girl at Walmart,
Oh my gosh.
and she's 7.
Uh-huh.
I know I'm not going to risk it, so anywhere I take my kids, my husband goes with us.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And if I have to take the kids somewhere by myself, they're right there in front of me.
Yeah.
So I just can't risk having something happen to one of my kids, like something happened to Adam. So it's life. I wish that whatever did happen to Adam didn't happen. I wish we could have continued our plans for prom and dances and our first boyfriends or girlfriends and the first time we've kissed someone or held hands or first dates. I mean, I didn't get to share any of that with Adam. Like, I got to share that with the rest of my friends, but I never got to share that with Adam. And, part of me feels kind of deprived. I mean, his teachers didn't get to watch the news on Derby School District Channel or the newspaper or anything like that saying, hey, this kid walked across the stage during graduation.
Yeah.
His name wasn't in there. His name should have been in there. He should have just been with us. He should have just grown up with us. It's just, I feel deprived, and I'm pretty sure some of my other friends feel deprived of it too. But there's nothing we can do about it now. We can just only hope and pray that he's still around.
Well, hopefully it's the case. Hopefully.